The water's not that bad. The difficulty about sailing is when you come into contact with the crunchy bits that surround the water.
How not to sail. Screwing up is part of cruising. Let me show you how. Yar. Hey there, How Not to Sailors. Man, that was a heck of a party for the end of Season 1, wasn't it? The clip you just heard is from one of our featured guests, which you probably know if you were there. If you just landed here and have no idea what the podcast is about, I encourage you, as always, to start with Episode 1. But in this bonus podcast episode, I've collected the main parts of the season end party, the parts that are most amenable to the audio podcast format, and I've jettisoned anything that wouldn't really translate to audio, like instructions on how to use Zoom. If you'd like to see and hear the whole thing, mostly unadulterated with video, just go to hownottosail.com and look for the party. And of course, if you're a How Not to Sail Patreon patron, you can check out the exclusive video from the Bob Bitchin' VIP pre-party. But speaking of bitchin', with special thanks to Latitudes and Attitudes, Fox Dog Productions, our awesome featured guests, Patreon patrons, and everybody who joined us in real time, here's the meat, the very marrow, if you will, from our Season 1 wrap party, starting with this guy. Roll 'em.
He is the publisher of America's #1 selling boating lifestyle magazine. His tattoos weigh more than most cruising sailboats. And he is, quite possibly, the main reason for my cruising problem. In his 100,000 sailing miles, he has accumulated more knowledge on how not to sail than you can ever hope to gather. He just finished bench pressing a Harley Davidson and flossing his teeth with a 2,000-year-old redwood tree. He is Captain Bob Bitchin'.
Ahoy, Bob.
Hey, I never did get to thank you for letting me use that for the opening of my radio show.
Oh yes, I understand you have a thing every Saturday at noon.
That's right.
On Pirate Radio, and I don't know if Dan's here, but big shout out to them.
And on Wednesdays it repeats at 8:00.
Oh,
Eastern,
nice. Okay.
8 p.m. Yeah.
So this is a fellow responsible for my ruining thousands of lives, not only my own, but to Bob, we have a question from Alan. Who says, once COVID clears up, is Bob going to be doing any of the SoCal boat shows?
No. We used to do Long Beach and San Diego, and we actually sponsored the parties there. We did parties, but they got so small. It got down to where the last time we did Long Beach, it was on the grass with like 12 tents, and San Diego was just about the same. So the only one we do in California now is the Richmond Boat Show.
And also, I had a question that kind of dovetails with what's going on here. Are you going to be releasing your books again?
Right now, this is the only book I have in print because all 9 of my books, all of my inventory burned up in the Bear Fire when our house and warehouse burnt down. So we're going to release one of the books every 2 to 3 months because I cannot afford to have them all printed at once. We did Biker to Sailor. It just came off the press last week. And in 3 more weeks, Brotherhood of Outlaws will be coming off the press.
Nice.
And then all of them except for Letters from the Lost Soul, which I have an agreement with a publisher I signed 20 years ago, and they won't let me reprint it. Mm-hmm. And they are not distributing it. So I don't know what I'm going to do there, but I'll figure it out. My lawyer's on it.
We're going to have to lean on those guys. And,
yeah.
So we will be giving away some hard copies of Biker to Sailor here shortly in some of the giveaways. And Bob's also been kind enough to donate some print subscriptions to the print magazine. I want to go ahead and introduce our second guest. That would be the Admiral, and you've probably heard her this season on the show. I want to give her a question while she's still here. So, all right, Tanya, make sure your mic's on and all that. So we have a question for Tanya. There she is, sitting in the car in South Georgia. And the question,
remind me why we're doing this again.
Hey, that sounds familiar. So we have a question here. What is the thing you like most about cruising and the thing you like least about cruising?
The thing I like the most is the peace. Probably I like it more than you do because I love the peaceful sail. I don't have to do anything much. because you do most of the work, but things look different on a boat. And that's my favorite.
And least favorite thing?
The head.
What?
I'm sorry. That's my least favorite part of the boat. Everything about it.
Okay.
The whole thing. There's nothing good about it.
But you must confess, you have seen me maintain the thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, she's very patient, and she's also a hell of a mimosa server. And in case I didn't mention what the semi-concocted plan I have here is, we're going to introduce each of our guests in sequence, and then once we've asked them each a question, we're going to throw it open. And the next person we're going to introduce, this is Wayne Stinnett, and not only is he an awesome author, he's also a very generous fellow, and he has helped. I believe he mentored Eric in his novel, and numerous other people, and me as well, even though mine is like crazy nonfiction stuff. But the first question I had for Wayne is, how many books have you written?
You put me on the spot when you ask that, because I get a new one out every 3 or 4 months. Let's see, I'm working on the 20th Jesse book, and there are 5 charity books and 1 nonfiction. So that's coming up on 26.
The nonfiction one being about writing.
Yeah, it's kind of a motivational. It's called Blue Collar to No Collar, how I took a hobby and turned it into a career. And a lot of people say it got them up off the couch and got them in front of the computer and got them writing.
That leads me to my next question, how you transitioned to this best-selling author thing from your previous employments.
The transition was real easy. I don't have to throw chains anymore. And no, I'm not a sadomasochist. I was a truck driver.
Hey-o.
Unrolling tarps when it's 20 below zero and they're frozen solid. Don't do that anymore. I'm home with my family every evening, so that's always a blessing. But yeah, it's been a great transition, and I'm really enjoying it.
So what's your next one, and when's it out?
The next one will be, well, actually there'll be 2. On April 5th, we'll be releasing Wayward Sons. It's a collaboration between me and Stuart Matthews. And then right after that, 2 weeks later, will be Rising Tide, the 20th novel in the Jesse McDermott series. And somewhere in there, I'm sort of collaborating. A friend of mine and fellow author, Ed Robinson, passed away recently, and his wife asked me to finish his unfinished manuscript. He had about 50,000 words and was planning on about 65,000. So I'm launching into that, and we've got a cover for it, and it should come together about the same time as the other 2.
I was going to mention that. That is awesome. And Ed Robinson, fine writer, has recently left us, and that is great work you're doing there for that. That's really
thank you.
And that kind of sums up the kind of guy Wayne is, why everybody loves him so much. On that awkward note, I'm going to toss to Eric, and then we're going to come back for a trivia question, which we will give away some latitudes and attitudes and Biker to Sailor.
So, a little tune I wrote, Wayne asked me if I could write a song basically about the characters and this little place that maybe eventually will be real one day, and I hope to play there first.
Yes.
That. It's called the Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill. So here you go. Bar stool in the corner, strummed on my guitar. There's some half-sober locals just trying to unwind. Kept my set list simple, just like this rundown bar. Just a few windows in old Dade County pine. Julie wiped the bar down while Rusty drank a beer. Smell of blackened fish and mangoes fill the air. It's the end of a no-name shell road. One thing that is clear, it's no accident you wind up in there. Feels like home and always will. Rusty anchor bar and grill. Ain't no Margaritaville. Yeah, it's real. It's Rusty anchor bar and grill. Well, it ain't no gun and knife club. It ain't too far from it. Looking for trouble, then you've come to the right place. So just pull up a bar stool, and if you don't start no shit, Jesse won't have to mess up your pretty face. Feels like home and always will. Rusty anchored bar and grill. Ain't no Margaritaville. Yeah, it's real. It's Rusty anchored bar and grill. Come as you are and you will see. You'll be treated just like family. It ain't much to talk about, but it ain't hype. Yeah, they have the best black and fish and cold red stripe. Feels like home and always will. Rusty anchored bar and grill. Ain't no Margaritaville. Yeah, it's real. It's Rusty anchored bar and grill. It's Rusty anchored bar and grill.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, I see Chief getting busy back there.
This is Ozzy.
Oh, Ozzy. Sorry,
Yep,
I'm
yep.
going for the book character, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, that would be the bird in Eric's book.
Yeah.
Awesome. I see a lot of the Patreon patrons in the chat there, and I can't really see everybody. At one time is the issue, but if you are a patron, please say ahoy in the chat if you feel like it. And meanwhile, we're going to give away a print subscription to Latitudes and Attitudes, which is part of the reason for my cruising problem, as well as a hard copy of Biker to Sailor. We're going to do a trivia question. And Brian, how are we going to determine who's the first to answer this?
That is an excellent question. First person we see with the correct answer in the chat wins this trivia. All right.
The part of the boat from the waterline to the rail is called A, the freeboard, B, the topsides, C, the keel, or D, the hull.
And what do we got?
All right, we got a lot of answers for freeboard. Clay Pigeon says freeboard. He was the first one to say it. Alan Wrench jumped right on board. Bob says he refuses to answer. But freeboard seems to be the overwhelming answer, with Clay Pigeon being in the number one. Is that correct?
It is not.
It is not correct. I thought so. Yeah, that's a bit of a trick question. Anybody else want to try to take a guess at that one? So Island Eric Stone says the hull. SV Ariel says the keel.
Nope.
No.
Joe.
Top sides. Joe and Gabrielle. Joe and Gabrielle got it. Top sides.
I'm glad of that, because they have an awesome podcast that I'm hoping to hear more of, called From Surfers to Sailors. We got several podcasters I saw out there. Joe and Gabrielle from Surfers to Sailors. I see Captain Jeffrey Wettig from Shooting the Breeze Sailing Podcast. If there are any other podcasters out there, give us a shout in the chat, because I can't see everybody. But so on the boat thing, freeboard is a measurement, a distance from the water line to the deck. The part of the boat, which nobody in a boatyard will know this answer, the actual part of the boat from the water line to the deck is the top sides. I am reliably informed of this, and you can look that up on Wikipedia and hit me over the head if I'm wrong. But anyway, we'll give the print subscription to Lats and Ats and the hard copy of Biker to Sailor to Joe and Gabrielle. And everybody check out the From Surfers to Sailors podcast. It is unique. And next, we need to do another guest, and we will have someone who is a YouTube sensation with a very cool hat and a very nice drink container. And so, Brian, if you can roll the clip for Captain Boomies.
I am Captain Boomies. You can find me at captainboomies.com. And I am a How Not to Sailor. Can I get another one of these? Oh, I'm not recording. It's a mighty impressive microphone you got there. Oh, I'm introducing myself. Okay. Hey, girl. Ahoy, ahoy. Ow! No, that's a weird thing to say. Ahoy, ahoy.
Ahoy, ahoy, Captain Boomies.
Ahoy, ahoy! Oh my goodness. I need to drink some more because it's weird being here.
This was one of the more popular video interviews I did on the YouTube channel this season.
Oh, it's because I'm the only person that swears more than you do.
That may, well, as far as you know, right. So anybody that's got any questions for Captain Boomies here, put them in the chat, but I'm going to go ahead with one that already had been asked, which was people that don't know, in a prior life, Captain Boomies captained large mega yachts in the Caribbean. And so one of my questions is, what was the biggest challenge for you as a female captain on those mega yachts in the Caribbean?
Oh, man. The biggest challenge, honestly, it's actually a superhero power. When you're a woman pulling a great big boat into a marina and they're not expecting it, they start asking the chef or somebody else, like, hey, can we get your paperwork for customs and whatnot, and I get to like sit back and wear my skirt and hide while we get ourselves organized. It's the other thing is, people will see me pulling a boat in and they'll be like, "Oh wow, that was some nice going." And usually I just say like, "Yeah, thanks, mister. I learned today." Even though the reality is I've been floating a long, long time.
They did not expect that.
No.
Oh my goodness, the woman pulled the boat in. How about that? So, by the way, so I believe you're actually doing some cool work, video and in actual instruction-wise with couples. So our follow-up question is, what advice would you give to couples who are thinking about buying a boat and going cruising?
Oh man. So yeah, I do spend a lot of my time teaching couples that have just bought a bigger boat and they're kind of freaking out about it. But my best advice is pick the boat that has the nicest head. Your wife will thank me and she'll be more inclined to want to go cruising with you.
That seems to dovetail with something the Admiral just said. I'm going to have a podcast about the head, I think, very soon. But by the way, Bryant from the sailing group in Upper Chesapeake there, he just mentioned that you putting together a class called Docking Without Divorce.
I did. So the Docking Without Divorcing class, it's going to be my first online class. It's going to be the first time I'm going to try to teach people how I think about docking with my many years of experience, having worked both for my husband and having my husband be my employee aboard. And then, your relationship can take some flexion strength. I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. And I think the value that I'm offering is how to talk to your spouse when you're approaching a dock.
And by the way, if anyone has not seen the Captain Boomies channel on YouTube, both her and Christian are doing some very cool stuff, including setting boats on fire and things like that, which you should not do at home unless...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep, we don't know. But definitely check that out. I want to get in, before we go to our next question, I want to get in our next guest. He is a character, if you will, on this season of the podcast in a couple of places. He has a beautiful Cape dory called Duende, and he has now started romantic sailing adventures. And one of our large prizes tonight will be a day sail with this gentleman who is a licensed captain aboard Duende, the beautiful Cape dory. But he's also a multi-talented actor, dancer, musician. I forget what else, but at any rate, I think we're going to play a little clip here, and this video link will be available on the show notes for the party here. And if you don't laugh your ass off with this clip and want to see the rest of it, then I got no hope for you. But Brian, if you can roll this particular musical clip of Captain Pete.
So I took as my inspiration 2 men in an Irish prison about to be put to death. So shortly before their time, and prison garb being what it is, one of these men sings this song to the other, this beautiful and touching song. And what could be more touching than an Irish prison? If you will give me but one chance, I'll surely convince ye that we should be in each other's pants. Mine are too big, you see, yours too small. So give your pants to me, mine'll fit ye stomach and all. Just let me wear them before you tear them. In each other's pants you'll see how happy we'll be. So if you will give me just one try.
That is Captain Peter Suarez. And I see he is aboard his boat Duende. What's shaking, Captain?
Oh, not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Well, listen, what I want to say is this. I understand that the man that wrote this book is going to be part of this show. And this book has been a seminal book in my life. And so I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read his name. Who's the gentleman that wrote this book?
Yeah, that's me.
What's your name?
Bradford.
Bradford what?
Rogers. Yeah.
That doesn't sound right, but okay, we can come back to that. Anyway, I was going to show you my tattoos, but it's very cold here in Florida. You can see I'm actually wearing a skin cap here on my head. And yeah, I'm not actually Irish, so let's get over it. Anyway, Bradford, it's awesome to be on your show, and from what I've seen, because I have been drinking a bit, just like Captain Boomies, it seems to be going very well.
As far as you know, yeah. So I have some questions here. We'll see if we got any more. But one that I have here is, what do you like about Florida?
I like the temperature, and I like the people. I like the energy. I especially like the West Coast, and I love being on the water around here, except on the weekends, for obvious reasons. And all of you fellow sailboaters, stickboaters, will know what I mean when we're talking about some of the yahoos that are out there with their motor craft. But no, it's a lovely place to live, and St. Petersburg, Gulfport in particular, where I live, is a fabulous place to be.
Awesome. And we're going to be having some episodes about Gulfport as well here shortly. And we will also have some more questions for Captain Pete here. In the meantime, if Eric is amenable, we're going to have another Eric Stone tune, which may or may not be from this season's podcast. And then we're going to have another trivia question to give away another subscription to, oh yeah, it's a ukulele. We're going to be, after this, we'll give away another subscription to Lats and Hats, print subscription, and hardcover of Biker to Sailor. But meanwhile, I will leave it to your excretion, Eric, as to which song you would like to perform. Oh, and you got to unmute. Oh, it's time for the
that's drinking game.
Drinking game, yeah.
Drinking time.
Yeah.
Put it up. That's our first one.
Okay. So I wrote this song when I lived in Hawaii. And because I lived in Hawaii for quite a while, I worked for the airlines, and everybody played ukulele down where we surfed. And I had picked one up one day, and I was like, man, these things are the coolest thing ever. So I learned it, and I wrote almost my entire first album, Songs for Sale, on the ukulele, and then I switched it over to guitar when I got back to Nashville. But this is one that I kept as ukulele because it just works. It's called the Huma Huma Nuku Nuku Apua.
Yeah.
The Huma Huma Nuku Nuku Apua is the fish that I aloha. He likes to swim at the top of the reef to beaches at Makaha. A little triggerfish I'm singing about is so colorful that he glows. But don't take your eyes off of him, cause he'll bite off one of your toes. You swim round in the ocean. He's the fish I love the most. Always stay in motion when you surf the waves on the Waianae coast. The Huma Huma Nuku Nuku Apua is the fish that I aloha. He likes to swim at the top of the reef near the beaches at Makaha. A little triggerfish I'm singing about is so colorful that he glows. But don't take your eyes off of him, cause he'll bite off one of your toes. You hang 10 on a surfboard, the West Shore can't be beat. Remember to heed my words. When you surf Makaha, don't dangle your feet. The Huma Huma Nuku Nuku Apua is the fish that I aloha. He likes to swim at the top of the reef near the beaches at Makaha. A little triggerfish I'm singing about is so colorful that he glows. But don't take your eyes off of him, cause he'll bite off one of your toes. The Huma Huma Nuku Nuku Apua is the fish that I aloha.
All right. Bird down, bird down. So we're going to give away at this juncture another print subscription to Latitudes and Attitudes and a hard copy of Biker to Sailor. So here is trivia question number 2.
In episode 9, what does Bradford drop into Biscayne Bay? A, a compass, B, a bosun's whistle, C, a knife, or D, a deuce?
Oh, that was a fast one, man. We got an answer right out the gate without even having the answers on the board.
Uh-oh. Hey.
Cole Bailey.
Wow. Okay. Cole is one of our fine bosuns on the Patreon. So we will be sending you I did not drop a deuce into Biscayne Bay. That would be highly illegal. And not to mention classless. I would never do such a thing. In fact, my Y valve is always padlocked shut in case of inspection by the coasties.
Bradford, what did you drop into Biscayne Bay?
It was a knife. It was a Kershaw knife given to me on my 50th birthday, 5 years from now, by my friend Mark. And I was going to forward to the shrouds to perform a different operation. And the thing came out of my pocket. Kershaw went kersplash. And that was that. So at any rate, Cole, we'll be sending you the subscription there. Thank you so much for being a patron. I went by like this, but we've got, I see Cole, we've got Julie, I see Dad, Tanya, a number of patrons. I'm having a brain fart. I think Mark is in here now, Wayne, Captain Boomies, and I'm sure I'm missing something, but correct me if I'm wrong, shout out in the chat. But we will go ahead now and open the floor to general questions. And I have one for Bob already. This is a little curveball, but this says for Bob, what's the hardest part of writing?
Starting. No, actually, I don't know. It's all I've ever done. So I never really considered it hard. It's like I've been doing it 50 years. Let's put it this way. It's easier than working. So
yeah. I have to say the thing that stands out the most to me and the one that I have to resist copying is the similes. You have a number of sayings.
That to me is what, and Wayne, you can jump in here too, but and even Eric, but the similes is what makes reading something fun. I mean, if you're just going to tell a story without using any picturing, anything like that, it's not really a story. It's like, and you were looking for one. It's like you're as happy as you would be seeing your 16-year-old at a Hell's Angels party.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's
right.
That's a simile. That's how unhappy are you? That's how unhappy you are. Okay, so
was it you that I stole from that my boat's seen more bottom than a gynecologist?
Yeah, I usually use Seymour Bottom than a toilet seat, but yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So I did put a little twist on it just to seem original.
Yeah.
All right, we got one here for Captain Boomies, and actually this might be a good round robin. I think I'm going to take this around. Bob, Eric, Wayne, Peter, anybody that's left on here, raise your hand if you got an answer. But what was your worst moment on the water? And we'll start with you, Bob.
You said it does include me or doesn't?
Oh yeah, we'll start with you, and then we'll go with Captain Boomies and whoever else has a. And the screw up can include or not include you.
Well, it's pretty much a trick question, because to me, the worst things that ever happened on the water are the best stories I ever had.
Right.
They've gotten me more free drinks and more bars than the stories where everything was copacetic and wonderful. So I've got to say that, we had a knockdown in the Ala Nui Hala where we actually went inverted. That was exciting, but it wasn't the worst thing that ever happened, because it was actually kind of fun when it was over. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. That's what they say. Yeah. But also, if it doesn't kill you, it gives you a hell of a good story.
Right. And, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Ali Nui Haha, you just made that word up, I think.
No, that means to crumble up and throw out. And that's the channel between the Big Island and Maui. And it is what you've got is you've got 12,000 foot peaks on the Big Island. You've got 12,000 foot Haleakala on Maui. And you've got the Pacific trades that are coming down for 2,000 miles. And when they hit that channel, if it's blowing 25 and 30, which is normal trade winds on the islands, it's blowing 55 to 60 in the channel. And so that channel is notorious. It's I've had more fun in that channel than any place on earth.
I think you coined a phrase there one time.
Which one?
I think after the knockdown, you
the adventure.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I came up with the saying, adventure is the difference between ordeal and adventure. And that's where Jody came up with the saying, sometimes it's just an ordeal.
Yeah. I've heard that ordeal thing from the Admiral a couple of times.
Yeah.
By the way, before we get another answer on this, I want to mention that Tom says that 3 squares a day actually comes from an old cruiser saying that means only 3 squares of toilet paper allowed per day on a boat. I did not realize that. And by the way, I see Paula, and I see a lot of folks from Pier 4, my very own pier in Gulfport Marina. Captain Pete is on Pier 5. Anybody else that's there in Gulfport Marina, give me an ahoy in the chat. I'd love to see who's on there so I can harass you when I go back. Meanwhile, Captain Boomies, what is your worst moment on the water?
Oh God, there's so many. Okay, off the top of my head, just because I'm right down the road from it right now. Fort McHenry has a flag that you all might have heard of, because it's that flag that was still there. And they have different size flags that they run up and down depending on what the weather's going to do. And I was out there when I was 18 years old teaching some older lovely ladies how to sail a tiny 20-foot boat. And I was telling them, oh yeah, and that flag, they always have it flying. And when they raise the teeny tiny flag, that's when they're going to get a lot of wind. And as you'll notice, oh shit, the smallest flag I have ever seen ever goes up the flagpole, and somehow I missed the weather report. And we end up capsizing that itty bitty boat in the middle of Baltimore Harbor and holding on for quite a while. And I just managed to sort of flop us over. I learned floor reaching without actually knowing what it was. It's great technique, by the way. And we did eventually get nabbed by a cruiser as the storm let up, but I think I traumatized those women forever, and myself as well, when I discovered that I had left all of my insides on my outside by the end of it.
Oh dear. By the way, we have some other Captain Boomy's horror stories on
Oh
the
God!
video.
Bring those up.
Yeah, so you can go to How Not to Sail and search for Captain Boomies for that video, and we have several of those. Meanwhile, we have Peter. Do you have a worst moment on the water?
Well, I would say that the water's not that bad. All right. I mean, the difficulty about sailing is when you come into contact with the crunchy bits that surround the water. So I would say that the most difficult times on the water are when you are near land. I mean, the rest of it is actually, as both of your two former guests just mentioned, is potentially exciting and potentially dealable with. The worst part is being close to shore, close to land, running aground, doing a really bad job of docking, which, I always say because I teach sailing also, and one of the things that, well, mainly what I teach is docking, let's face it. And I always say that it's kind of like sailing is like golfing. All right. Even the pros hit bad shots. And, when you are supposedly a pro and you hit a bad shot coming into dock, it's just not a pretty sight. So I would say that the moments that I have disliked the most on the water is when I am coming into contact with the crunchy bits because I didn't read something right. Current, wind, all that kind of stuff. But sailing itself can be treacherous, can be dangerous, can be all that. But many of the problems we all face are when we are near that thing called land.
The French fella that whose boat was wrecked in Mexico in that hurricane that Bob was in, I think pardon my French, if you will, but he called the land the Great Whore, and he explained it to me that when you're out there in the ocean, you have sea room.
Yes.
When you get close to things where the draft is less than your boat, then that's where the problem usually arises.
Absolutely.
Well, I got a question for, by the way, we're going to give away, this gentleman here, we're going to give away a day sail aboard Duende, which you can kind of see there shortly. I'm going to ask another question. I got one for Wayne, and then we got an Eric song. But let me go ahead and ask Wayne, where am I at here? The question is, why does Jesse McDermott have a power boat if you have a sailboat?
Well, Jesse has more than one boat. He has a 45-foot Rampage convertible, a 56-foot Formosa, a 32-foot Winter, several smaller boats, even one that he hand-built himself. But Jesse is a charter fisherman, and charter fishing in a sailboat, it's going to take you a long time to get out to the fishing grounds and a long time to get back, and that kind of limits the time that you can actually fish.
By the way, Wayne also hosts the Talk Right podcast, which is very cool. If you are a writer or aspiring writer. Speaking of which, we will be giving away, and while I got you here, I assume we want to give away the first in the Jesse McDermott series in our paperback giveaways, unless maybe somebody has read all of them and want to have the most recent. Are you flexible on that one? Or
Yeah, we can go either way. The most recent one should be arriving any day, so it may take a couple of days to get it shipped.
So if you win something on Wayne's here and you already have the first one, let me know. I'll be following up with everybody, and we'll take her from there. We're going to go to some music from Eric again, and we will do a little giveaway right after that.
Yeah, I'm not really muted. I just wanted to drink.
Yes, we can accommodate that.
All right. So you were talking about putting a boat to the crunchy stuff offshore. Peter was. So I wrote this tune called Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which is based on a poem from way, way back. It's not the Iron Maiden song, but it's a song I wrote about people that really should just never, they should do that 3 feet rule with a boat. Just always stay 3 feet away from a boat. They shouldn't be a captain. They should never be on the boat. They got the like Captain Crunch and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, this little tune's called Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. I met a man who thought he knew the ocean, but on the water he caused a big commotion. One night he ran out while he was drinking. Now all he hears is the sound of his boat sinking, and the rhyme of the ancient mariner. So rich boy finished school close to the bottom. His graduation was cool, so Daddy bought it a cigarette boat with flames to pick up honeys. He crashed in all that remains of Daddy's money is the ride of the ancient mariner. Water, water everywhere, and all the boys did shrink. Water, water everywhere, for any drop to drink. It's the ride of the ancient mariner. Out on their 60-foot sport fishing cruising, just shooting ski from the stern while they were boozing. An albatross flew by and so they shot it, and soon they joined that bird down at the bottom. It's the ride of the ancient mariner. It's the ride of the ancient mariner. About and reel and route, the death fires dance tonight. The water like a witch is spoiled from green and blue and white. Ride of the ancient mariner. It's the ride of the ancient mariner. It's the ride of the ancient mariner. It's the ride of the ancient mariner.
All right. Time to drink again. And we are going to go ahead here and, somebody was asking how can I help spread the gospel? If you go to hownottosale.com, look for the big red button right there on the homepage. If you click that, that will show you the most convenient way for whatever gadget you are currently going on there with to get the podcast. And if you would be so kind as to drag 2 or 3 of your friends kicking and screaming, drag their little thumbs on their smartphone to hownottosale.com and tap on the big red button, that would be awesome. That is the answer. Meanwhile, we've got a giveaway here. And so the first giveaway here, I'm going to call the Glutton for Punishment, a hardcover of Biker to Sailor, a paperback of How Not to Sail, and also Wayne's signed copy of his first book, or let me know if you've already got that and we'll get the most recent. But so you could call this the author's package. And this one will go to 66. Which one is that, Brian?
All right, 066 goes to Cole Bailey. He's a 2-time winner.
Oh, wow.
Cole Bailey making out like a bandit.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to give away one more of those things. So the next one will be 10.
Number 10, going low. That's going to be Bill Ramsey. Congratulations.
Oh, you're going to owe me a margarita, Bill.
You got it.
All right. Yeah, Bill's going to have some books in stock here. And as I know, Leanne is an avid reader. These may be read by more than one party.
They don't disappear.
Next thing we have, Nathan and Vivian are not here at the moment from Ocean Passages. They are friends with John Kretschmer, who's friends with Bob. So it's like a whole little circular thing there. They have a Ocean Passages training cruises. They are right now somewhere very tropical, I think it looked like. But Nathan and Vivian wanted to donate 20% off on any training passage in 2021. So this one is kind of dependent on you being on the East Coast of the U.S. But that one will go to 243.
243, digging a little deeper. That's going to go to Bob Denny. Bob Denny.
I thought you were going to say bitchin', but all right. And the very last thing we're going to give away here, as I mentioned, Captain Pete.
Hello.
There he is, aboard Duende and a free day sail. If you want to check out what he's doing there, romanticsailingadventures.com. If you don't already have a boat and you wish to go on a romantic sailing adventure, I have to tell you, Gulfport, Florida, right near St. Pete, where Bob Bitchin's favorite boat show is, Gulfport is really awesome. You got like a little protected bay and you're just like 40 minutes from jumping out in the Gulf. And that's why it's my hailing port, or my home port. My hailing port, I guess, is Atlanta. But anyway, the day sail for romantic sailing adventures with Captain Pete, that will go to 294.
294. That's going to be Ken and Paula Schur. Ken and
Oh,
Paula Schur.
all right.
Ken and Paula, please come and join me in Gulfport. I would love to take you guys out.
Yeah, they're going to have a long travel for that because they're on Pier 4. So maybe we should do an alternate just in case, because they may or may not have a boat called Island Time. I'm sure we'll work something out in case I make a duplicate for you, Pete. But 141 also for romantic sailing adventures.
141. That's going to be Mark Nicholas.
Oh yeah. That would be one of our Sailing Master Patreon patrons. Very appropriate. I saw he made it in here, and is also, I know, a St. Petersburg or Clearwater area resident. So Mark, I will hook you up with Peter, and that will be awesome. I think I've taxed everybody's patience enough already, so I would just want to thank everybody that's been here. If you would let me know what your feedback is on the next season. The episode 20 is dropped right now. You can go download it. I see Maxie there on my video. He has just edited and mixed it in record time, and it is now on the interwebs. Say hi, Maxie.
Hi, how are you guys? Nice meeting you.
He's very patient. He is from Argentina, but mixing at the moment in Egypt, unless you moved somewhere else.
Egypt, yeah.
Awesome. So episode 20 has dropped. You can go check that out. And season 2 is going to be different. It has to be because, season 1 was kind of a unique thing. I'm interested in your feedback. And if you could bring some friends to it, I would love it. I appreciate everybody from being here. I'm going to...
Bradford, I think Captain Boomy's had a little something to say there. She jumped in.
Oh, dear sweet Jesus.
I'm sorry. I need to ask a question of someone in particular here. Janet and Bruce, are you underway? You look so bundled up. I'm like, it's been bugging me this whole time.
They're in Gulfport.
I say with the heater on.
Oh, they're at the yacht club next to Gulfport.
It is cold.
Yeah, it's cold out here, and we're drinking cold beer. So.
Hey.
Okay, it's been killing me. You're wearing like the matching outfits and everything.
Why would you drink warm beer?
I just met them like the other week, and we have like this whole little thing on Pier 4 and 5 there at Gulfport Marina, which is an outstanding place to be. By the way, I will see you guys shortly, I hope, and I may be down there next weekend. I'm not sure. I'm going to the boat show, but I appreciate everybody being here. I'm like tickled stinkless for all the support this season, and I just want to give it to Eric for another tune to play us out of here, and I will see you guys next season.
Congrats, Bradford.
Thank you, sir.
It was fun.
Thank all of y'all. I really appreciate it. Thanks to Bob, Lats and Ats, Fox Dog. Here you go, Eric.
Great season, Bradford.
I'm going to send this one out to Bob. I'm looking at you. He's a rider, an outsider, American outlaw biker. Came from out west, ink on his chest and a dream. But his lifestyle has changed now. Rail to rail, stern to bow. He left the highway to take to the sea. Seeing the world from port to port, circumnavigation of a different sort. Wherever the trade winds blow, lives the legend of the lost soul. She was stranded, abandoned, took her single-handed. As he raised the mainsail, she cast all his worries aside. He told her, for 50,000 miles he sailed her. Life is a journey, together they enjoy the ride. Don't dream your life, live your dream. Don't be afraid to swim upstream. Adventure can make you whole, like the legend of the lost soul. Recommend decadence as a way of life. Work for him, so high on the mast, the jolly rider flies. Skull and crossbones, different time zones. Mystery still unknown. Attitudes can change, new attitudes are crossed. Celebration, creation, stitch of civilization. Turn back the hands of time before innocence was lost. Like a treasure chest on an ancient chalk, X marks the spot where you'll find your heart. The pirate inside you grow, like the legend of the lost soul. River the trade winds blow, lives the legend of the lost soul.
Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome. Here's everybody.
How not to sail. Screwing up is part of cruising. Let me show you how. Yar.
Bye, y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Wayne.
I'll make it short and sweet. If you want to see the video version of the whole party, you can go to hownottosail.com and look for the party. Big thanks to Lats and Ats, Fox Dog Productions, our great featured guests, our Patreon patrons, and everybody who joined us in real time, and you for listening now. Please grab a friend and drag them kicking and screaming to hownottosail.com on their phone thingy and punch their thumbs on that little red button so they subscribe to How Not to Sail. But seriously, don't hurt anybody. I'm super grateful for you being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you and hearing your feedback on Season 2.
The water's not that bad. The difficulty about sailing is when you come into contact with the crunchy bits that surround the water.